Yeah, I'm Chance Trevillian, a candidate for Virginia's 16th House Delegate District, and live here in Martinsville, Virginia. Like I've mentioned, I've been interested in politics since high school, and I've never really got much involved these past few years. I've shifted a little bit, as I mentioned, and so I was just finally decided to get more involved earlier this year. April of this year in 2021, I finally went and called the local Democratic committee here in town, and I said, hey, how can I help out? How can I volunteer, help with things around town? And they invited me to a Zoom meeting later that evening, and on that Zoom call, I misunderstood it at first, but the vice chair, he mentioned that there was some seminar or some event where some group was looking to train candidates to run for office. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested, and got the group's phone number later that week and reached out to them. And as it turns out, it wasn't a seminar. It was actually Dr. Fergie Reed's 90 for 90. And they try to get candidates in every district in Virginia. And he kind of just talked me into running. This is a very ruby red district, unfortunately. So running as a Democrat, I've got a uphill battle. But just figured I'd run, see what I could do, see if I could do what I could to win. And just to those first few weeks, it was just about paperwork, reaching out to folks, making connections. Reached out to Silene Montgomery, the chair of the Disability Caucus with the State Democratic Party here in Virginia, and she's been an absolute huge help on things. Other little things, set up the bank account for the campaign, met an actual voter. Just speaking with her was really fun. I had a lot of stuff to do that day, and but I made sure that I could set aside a good hour to just talk with her about all the issues in the area, and just filling out paperwork. And those were kind of the first few things I did. Got my name on the ballot, and yeah. Well, one of the biggest ways, just as anyone with a disability would know, just the extra little time. I wear leg braces when I'm getting to and from my vehicle, getting the wheelchair in and out, and just putting the braces on takes, each one takes about a minute or two. Together it's about 5 minutes getting up to get out of my bedroom. There's extra, I gotta put them on when I'm down in the floor, and getting up, the extra time that just, other people, they get to just put on their shoes, get up and walk out the door. I've got to take a good 5 minutes to get my shoes on, get up and get ready. And even then it's a hassle getting out of the house. And just other little things, like I went to, some of my staff recently were going around businesses in the area. And unless you actually have a disability, you don't really notice how ill-prepared and inaccessible some areas are. I know there's a place in town where there's a real nice upstairs area, and no way at all for me to get up there, unfortunately, to go up there and enjoy some food, enjoy some beverages, and work on stuff. I've got to do it down on the first floor. Went to Roanoke for the AFL-CIO questionnaire, their interview, and my campaign manager was with me, and we stopped in to get some food, some lunch for the day, and just maneuvering Roanoke's roads. Like, there was only one way to get up onto a sidewalk, and it was all the way at the end of one road, and so to get from one end of the way to the next, we had to get up on the, had to get up on the sidewalk like there, go all the way to the end, cross the road, and then go all the way back. It was such a headache and such a hassle. So just little things like that. I try not to let it affect me too much, but it really has opened my eyes to just how inaccessible a lot of areas are that should be much more accessible. Well, there's probably a few reasons. The one that I always like to list first is, of course, education. I actually spent my 20s working to become an elementary school teacher. I had to take a break, unfortunately. Life got in the way. But education's deeply important to me. It's making sure that, since it's such a foundational thing to just society in general, making sure that, because just a few things that I noticed through my process of running, teachers in Virginia, we're 32nd in terms of teacher pay, which is just abysmally low. Another little thing, that the minimum wage increase that happened these past 2 years will be helpful, but still the school staff, I learned that they're paid right at the minimum. Janitorial, custodial, well, they're kind of the same thing, but lunch staff and bus drivers, they're paid the minimum, and that's not enough to support such important, vital staff that, drive our kids to school, feed our kids during the day, and clean up and make sure our kids are safe during the day. Just little things like that. And of course, the teacher shortage. I actually met Terry McAuliffe earlier this year, and he has this real nice program, the Lucy Sims program, the kind of legislation I'd support if I win. And it's if a college student commits to teaching in an at-need area for 5 years, tuition fully paid, which would definitely help with the teacher shortage, and like expanding pre-K, just making sure that parents have a living wage so they don't have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to make it, so that they can spend that extra time getting their kids ready for a school. So just long story short, education needs lots and lots of work, public education, and I think that I'd be a good candidate given the bit of experience I've had in it, and just my deep passion for it. That's probably the main reason. Probably the cornerstone of my campaign. When there comes to policy things, I usually try to focus on education at the forefront. But not to go on too long with this answer, but the other big reason that I'm running, there's 2 other ones, like I said, in threes, and these last 2 are kind of tied together. Just to show people that anyone can run. You don't have to be a fancy doctor, a fancy lawyer, don't have to own a business or anything. You can just be a receptionist at your local community college. And the experiences you get along the way, being more involved in the activism and the advocacy, inspire others. You get more people involved, and that leads into the other reason why I'm running. Is, over the past 40 or so years, unfortunately, it's really ramped up in the past few years. Trust in government has just plummeted. I actually used to be a conservative Republican myself. I thought government wasn't good for much of anything. Lots of red tape, all of that unfortunate stuff. But the slogan of my campaign now is when government is employed by people of good character who genuinely want to help people, it can be a force for good. And that's me. I'm a person of good character who genuinely wants to help people, improve people's lives, all of the Virginians' lives. And I want to run and show people that advocacy, activism, being involved can actually bring results, that there are people who care and want to improve society, and just trying to run to get that message out there. I work at the local community college here in town, so I teachers, they'll come through and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to support you, definitely going to vote for you. And I'm like, are you going to ask me any questions about my policy, my platform? And they're like, no, you're a good guy, you're an upstanding guy, I'm going to vote for you. And just little moments like that. And probably the best moment was when I actually got to see my name on the ballot. 2 or 3 Fridays ago, it was on the 17th of September, I went and got to vote for myself. That was such an amazing and overwhelming moment. I was looking down at the ballot. I couldn't believe that my name was right there, and that was probably the best moment of the campaign. To circle back around, just every time anyone that's been in the process for a while tells me, just thanks me for running, because it's like, again, my odds of winning aren't great, not to undersell myself, but again, I've tried to work hard these past few months, but even then I've done the numbers, I know the math, I know how short of time I've had, but so it doesn't feel like it's such a big thing, but and that's kind of the message I would give is there's support out there to help people run. There's more than enough people that are engaged, that are interested, that would be more than happy to help out. And just every time. And so what would be ideal is, what would just make my day is if in like 2 years from now, or a year and a half, in like February of 2023, I'm out doing errands, doing business, get a phone call, and they're like, so-and-so, John Hancock, first name that came to mind. They called me up, they're like, hey, my name's John, I'm interested in running for politics. I was told you ran down in the 16th 2 years ago. Can you tell me if it's a thing I should do? And I'd be like, absolutely. And it'd be one of the best things that I could see happening. So to answer the question, absolutely. I would definitely encourage others to run. It's got its low points. It's overwhelming a lot more often than it's not, but it's more than worth it.